For over a week, world leaders have been in New York, and all the key figures have all said their priority is to get peace efforts going in Syria. So while they've been here, what's changed? The answer is this. Whether they were timed to coincide with this global gathering or not, Russian airstrikes in Syria are a game changer. The US says they add gasoline to the fire of a war already 4.5 years old. Russia says it's a positive step aimed at those they label terrorists. But given that the Russians were invited in by President Assad, does that just mean all his enemies, even those groups directly supported by the US? I tried to get clarity from the Russian foreign minister.
In addition to ISIL, which specific groups in Syria do you believe to be terrorists?
If it looks like a terrorist, if it acts like a terrorist, if it walks like a terrorist, if it fights like a terrorist, it's a terrorist, right? The representatives of the coalition command have always been saying that their targets are ISIL, al-Nusra, and other terrorist groups. This is basically our position as well. We see eye to eye with the coalition on this one.
But on the biggest issue of all, President Assad's future role, there is no agreement. And to explain the reasons for Russia's policy on this, Mr. Lavrov used the recent history of the Arab world.
Saddam Hussein, hanged. Is Iraq a better place, a safer place? Gaddafi, murdered in front of the viewers. Is Libya a better place? Now we're demonizing Assad. Can we try to draw lessons,
There are two new initiatives that have been put forward during the UN General Assembly, but in my view, neither is one that can stop the bloodshed in Syria. One is a new draft resolution Russia's putting forward to the UN Security Council on countering ISIL, and the other is the idea of a contact group on Syria involving key international and regional players. But as the US's allies on Syria arrive for a meeting, a diplomat from one of the countries told me a contact group is usually used to advance an agreed plan. But right now there's very little the US and Russia agree on, and despite over 250,000 deaths, there's no real international strategy. James Bays, Al Jazeera at the United Nations.